Hi, I'm Agent Ford. Do you think you can help me solve another true crime mystery? Today's case takes place in a desert in eastern California called Death Valley. It is one of the hottest places on Earth alongside the Sahara Desert, and it's considered the driest place in North America. The world record for the highest air temperature of 134 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded at Furnace Creek in the Death Valley on July 10, 1913. As many articles state, 1 to 3 people die every year in this deadly desert due to heat. Although not all passings recorded in the Death Valley result from high heat, some of them are incredibly mysterious. Today, we are overlooking the case of the Death Valley Germans, and believe me, this is going to be an interesting one. On October 21, 1996, Ranger Dave Brenner of Death Valley National Park was flying on a helicopter carrying out a routine surveillance trip around Death Valley's southern area. He was on the lookout for illegal drug manufacturing labs, but instead he found something else that caught his attention. Ranger Dave Brenner had spotted an abandoned vehicle in Anvil Canyon while he was on this surveillance trip. This was unusual to the ranger because the path of Anvil Canyon wasn't accessible to the public and required official protection. Local miners used this route for gold, silver, borax, and talc mining before the operation was shut down in 1976. The course had been declared as an official wilderness area since 1994. Ranger Dave landed the helicopter nearby to take a closer look. The vehicle he found was a green 1996 Plymouth Voyager with California license plates. It was covered in desert dust, not entirely, but enough that anybody could instantly tell that the van had been there for quite some time. The van was stuck with the axles deep in the sandy ground, and 3 of the 4 tires were completely flat. Ranger Dave couldn't look inside the truck as it was locked and there was no one around for miles, so he took note of the license plate number and headed back to his headquarters. The California Highway Patrol looked the van's number plate up in their system and discovered the van was reported stolen on September 10, 1996. It was owned by Dollar Cat Rentals, and it had been rented to a group of 4 Germans on July 8, 1996. The van had been due back on July 26, 1996, but was never returned. The rental company always waits 30 days for renters to return the vehicles before reporting them stolen. Upon further investigation, it was uncovered that the German group was made of 34-year-old Ingbert Remkes, Ingbert's 11-year-old son, George Weber, Ingbert's girlfriend, 27-year-old Cornelia Mayer, and her 4-year-old son, Max Mayer. On July 8, 1996, the group had flown to Seattle, Washington, before flying to Los Angeles, California. They had rented the green 1996 Plymouth Voyager van in Los Angeles and spent their time around San Clemente. On July 22nd, the group had driven to Death Valley, which turned out to be their final trip. The group had already booked their plane tickets to return to Germany on July 27th, but they never boarded the plane. On October 22, 1996, an investigator named Eric Inman was brought in to further investigate the case. Eric photographed everything he thought would be beneficial and did a thorough search throughout the area where the van had been found. There were no visible footprints, except for his own, and nothing that would help him in this case. Eric returned to Badwater Road, Death Valley, where he met with Detective Jim Jones and Corporal Leon Boyer. After they returned to Anvil Canyon once again, they opened the van's doors and found an American flag with Butte Valley Stone Cabin written on it, a place that is also known as the Geologist's Cabin. To give you a better idea, this cabin is located about 4.1 miles west of the car's location. They also found beer bottles and a camera, along with other essential items inside the van. On October 23, 1996, the vehicle was removed from Anvil Canyon. The same day, the China Lake Mountain Rescue Group, trackers from the India Wells Valley Search and Rescue Group, and 8 mounted units from the Kern County Sheriff's Mounted Search and Rescue started looking for any signs of the missing Germans. The search team found a beer bottle under a bush over a mile away from the van, the same kind of beer Eric had seen in the truck. This led investigators into thinking the German family could have left the van after getting stuck in the sand and started walking. They may have wanted to find shelter or civilization where they could ask for help. At some point, the family must have taken a break to rehydrate with beer, the only liquid they had with them, around the area where the bottle was found. On October 26, 4 days after the search began, the team had no hope that the Germans would still be alive, and with no clues found, the search was called off. Many other private investigations were conducted throughout the years, but only some information was made known to the public. Dick Hasselman researched on his own and was able to find a few more clues. The ranger had discovered a sleeping bag about 18 miles to the south of where the van was found. This could very well have belonged to the missing family, but there is no evidence to support his findings since it was thrown away. Now, many people made speculations about the disappearance of the family. Some of Eckbert's co-workers had stated that he was having issues with the custody of his son and that he wanted to move to Costa Rica to start a new life with his son and his girlfriend. Some reports disclosed that Eckbert had $1,500 wired to him as soon as he had landed in Seattle. Many people agree that he flew off to some other country to start completely fresh. But why would he have chosen the Death Valley to stage their disappearance? Another theory circulating around on the internet is that Eckbert wanted to see the top-secret technology in the China Lake NWC facility, 9 miles away from the van. Eckbert might have seen something he wasn't supposed to see and was made disappear by the government. This is indeed a far-fetched theory, and we can't be sure about any of these because there is no supporting evidence. After no more clues about the German family's whereabouts, the case fell silent until 2009 when a search and rescue worker of Los Angeles County started reading about the disappearance. Tom Mayhood spent the following year talking to other experts and enthusiasts until he came up with a theory that supported all the pieces of evidence. He thought that the family could have underestimated the cost of living in America, and during their stay, Eckbert might have asked for $1,500 to be wired to him. On July 22nd, the family arrived in the Death Valley and they embarked towards the south to Warm Spring Road, a narrow dirt road that turned out to be challenging to drive through with their minivan. They then decided to drive down to Butte Valley, a route a lot smoother than the one they were on. The group stopped at the stone cabin, but they decided to drive ahead when they found it empty, taking the flag they found in the van with them. As the group approached the Mingo Pass, the road became worse and worse by the minute, so they decided to go back to the original route they had taken. Little did they know, this path would seal their fate. The terrain was rough enough to flatten 3 of the van's tires. The van also got stuck in the sand, making the families get out of the vehicle and walk away to find shelter and help. The most logical theory is that Eckbert left the 2 little kids behind with Cornelia to take care for them. After walking for some time, he probably got tired and took a small break, and that is where he drank the beer. Upon finding nothing that could help them, Eckbert returned to the van where the whole family spent the night. The next morning, the family would have walked towards the China Lake NWC facility as the center was 9 miles away south of their van. They probably thought that if they could somehow reach the facility, the family would get the help they needed. Unfortunately, they never made it there. Tom Mayhood and his partner Les Walker decided to start searching towards the China Lake Naval Weapons Station boundary, as the Germans might have believed that they could find people on that site. After many days of searching, Tom and Les finally found Eckbert Remkes and Cornelia Meyer's scattered human bones on Golden Wash, an isolated area about 8 miles away from where the van was found. With this finding, Tom Mayhood was able to bring an end to the 13-year-long mystery surrounding the German family's disappearance. While the bones of Eckbert Remkes and Cornelia Meyer were discovered, their children's remains were never found. What happened to the children still remains a mystery, but they might likely have succumbed to death on the way to the facility. People are often reckless when traversing through foreign lands. They underestimate those places, the wilderness, and eventually end up losing their life. So before you plan a trip of any kind, research well and prepare yourself well enough to make it back home. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your fellow investigators. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a case. With that being said, stay safe, and I'll see you guys at the next crime scene.